Hello, hello, hi, come in, welcome. So lovely to see you joining. Hi, 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 how is everybody? I can see you coming in one by one. Say hello in the chat if you can see that. Oh, I can see it. Say hello in the chat. Let me know where you are. I always love to see where everybody is. Happy February, 1st of February today, and happy Chinese New Year. I have just had a message from my Chinese sister-in-law wishing me a very happy year of the tiger. So happy year of the tiger. I'm not quite sure what that means for us all. But I think it's going to be a good year, right? It's got to be better than the last couple. Hi, everybody. Hi, Sophie. Hi, Alison. Hi, Janet. Oh, Janet in New Zealand and Hawke's Bay. Hello. Jackie in Singapore. Hello. Wow. Sisters in Taunton and Walthamstow. Fantastic. Fantastic. How lovely to see you. It's good to know if it's early or late for you. Here in the UK, it's 8 a.m. So you're joining me early in the morning. If you're in Australia or New Zealand, it's a summer's evening. So thank you so much for spending a summer's evening with us. I'm really thrilled that you're here. 7 p.m. in Sydney, beautiful. I wanted to do an event that Australians and New Zealanders could join for live because I know that we have a lot of followers down under from following the success of the AgeWell project and the AgeWell plan. So I really wanted to do something that you could join. And of course, having set this time, I've now had lots of messages from people in the US and Canada saying, but it's the middle of the night. So, hi Amy and NZ. I can't please everybody. So I'm really glad that you're here. And if you're watching on catch up wherever you are in the world, thank you so much for being with me. I really appreciate it. Say hello in the chat. And if you've got questions, if you've got a question you'd like me to answer at the end, please put that in the Q&A because the chat can scroll past very quickly. I don't always see everything, but the Q&A only I see, so I can have a look at that in the end and answer your questions. Cool, right, okay. We've got a good number of people, so thank you so much again. Keep saying hello, and maybe let me know in the chat what would help you to age well. Is there anything that you find particularly difficult or you're struggling with or you'd like some help with? Just let me know. Hello, Jane Baker. Good morning. It's a very cheery good morning. Right, okay, so thank you again for being here. If you're new to me, I'm thrilled you're here. So let me introduce myself. I'm Susan Saunders. I'm a health coach and I specialise in helping postmenopausal women to age well, reduce dementia risk and beat confusion about what's best for our health. I coach one-to-one and I run courses. I'll talk a bit more about that in a moment. I'm author of the AgeWell plan and co-author of the book and the blog, the AgeWell Project. Now, if you follow the AgeWell Project, you'll know that we love a deep dive into research into aging well. So today I just want to chat through some of the research papers which have caught my eye recently and got me very slightly shifting some of the focus on what I eat. Quite a subtle change, but I'd like to share it with you today. And as a result, I've also shifted some of the emphasis of my Eat Well to Age Well course, and I've revamped it for 2022. It's shorter, punchier, more focused and cheaper. It starts again in 2 weeks, and I'll give you the details of that later. So, wow, lots going on in the chat. Overview. I can't bear going to the gym, but I know I need to keep my bone density up, says Lucy. Right, okay, that's an interesting one. Yes, okay. Oh, issues with knees. Yeah. Oh, gosh, and amazing to see where you all are, from Streatham to Brisbane. That is fantastic. Okay, lovely. What's going to happen is I will unpack some of that recent research into the key drivers of aging. Some of the issues I know we all talk about: reduced cognition, failing muscle strength. A couple of people just mentioned bones. And actually, bones and muscles work so closely together. We really need to focus on both. Leaky gut, deteriorating eye health, lots of issues. And I'm going to talk about some of the dietary patterns which help reduce these issues. And as I said, I'll explain the emphasis, the change of emphasis that I've made in what I eat. And then I'll talk to you a bit about how you can work with me further. I've got some giveaways. I'll answer some questions, and I hope we'll all be done in about 45 minutes. I know, morning or evening, everyone's got a lot to do. And what I really want you to be able to get from today is an understanding of some simple tweaks to what you eat that will really make a difference. And I hope you'll go away feeling empowered to make changes. I want to break the science down a bit so it's not overwhelming. I spend an awful lot of time reading research reports into longevity, the science of aging, and trying to make sense of what I learn in my own life so that it's doable and practical. And I'm just going to pass on some of that today. Now, I called this session a reboot because I'd like you to take this time to focus on your health and what it means to you to age well. We've left January behind and all that talk of resolutions, but it's a new month, 1st of February today. We can reset our intentions to do the best for our health and make the most powerful choices that we can. Ooh. Quick tea. We get to choose what we put on our plates, and those choices can be life-changing. What I'm aiming to do today, and I do with my Eat Well to Age Well course, is to simplify those choices for you so you know what and how to eat without it being difficult or stressful. I think the worst thing is a kind of overwhelm of what do I do? What do I eat? Why is there so much information out there? I really want to try and reduce that stress for all of us. But the big picture here is that who we are in the future is determined by how we take care of ourselves now. And the more we can upgrade and reboot that, the more we can give ourselves the attention we deserve, the better our lives will be. So please take this time you're with me as your time. Set an intention to choose the best for yourself and use the research I'm going to share to motivate you to take action. When we understand why something is good for us, we're more likely to keep doing it, which is why I talk about the research, why I delve into it, because I just have found that once I understand what's happening in my body or what certain foods do for me, it's much easier to keep motivated and to keep on track. So what have I got for you today? One really simple change I've made recently is that I have started eating goji berries again. Do you remember about 10 years ago, goji berries were the hottest thing ever, the ultimate superfood, blah, blah, blah. And it sort of makes me smile because when Annabelle and I started the AgeWell project, we absolutely said we're not going to do all those superfoods. We're not going to talk about goji berries. We're going to talk about kind of regular, everyday foods that make a difference to how we age. So if you haven't come across goji berries, they're small red berries from China. They come dried. I have got some here. I don't know if you can see those. Yeah, like that. Look like that. And so it's appropriate to be talking about Chinese things on Chinese New Year, our Year of the Tiger. But recent research has linked goji berries to a reduced risk of age-related macular degeneration. And that condition, age-related macular degeneration, refers to damage to the macula, which is the very centre of our retina, which we need for clear central vision. And damage to it is very, very common as we get older. I know that I carry an increased genetic risk for macular degeneration, and my dad had it, so I'm not entirely surprised that I have this genetic risk. So I want to do what I can to reduce my risk of getting the condition. And a small study, it was a small pilot study done in the US, where they got people to eat an ounce, about 28 grams, which is quite a lot actually. I put it in a pot to show you. It's quite a lot. If you can see, there's quite a lot in there. They ate that much, which I think is quite a lot, 5 days a week for 3 months. And what they found was that the people who were eating that amount of goji berries after 3 months had an increased density of protective pigments in the eye, which was amazing. That eating something so simple really made a big difference over 3 months. Their eyes were better protected from macular degeneration. These little goji berries are full of 2 plant antioxidants called lutein and zeaxanthin. They are known as macular pigments, and what they do in plants like the berries is that they protect them from too much light, essentially acting like inbuilt sunscreen or sunglasses for the plants. And they do the same to our eyes when we consume them. And of course, goji berries aren't the only source of these nutrients. Anything green or yellow is a good source. So things like yellow peppers, kiwi fruit, corn on the cob, kale and the leafy green vegetables, all rich in these antioxidants, lutein and zeaxanthin. I hope I'm saying them right. What was really interesting about this goji berry study was that the control group, so that was the half of the study who weren't eating the goji berries, they were given supplements containing lutein and zeaxanthin, these 2 nutrients which are so good for our eyes. And those people, the ones taking the supplements, didn't get the same benefits. They didn't get the same eye protection from the supplements as the goji berry eaters got from the berries. And it's so interesting because supplements are marketed so heavily to us, and they do have their place. I'm not anti-supplements per se at all. I think they can be a really good insurance policy. I take some supplements. I know many of you do. But it's just a reminder that food comes first, even if you don't want to eat a pot of goji berries 5 days a week, which I can understand. Food is very powerful in its natural state, and sometimes more powerful than a supplement. So it was a small study. It'd be interesting to see if it's replicated in a larger one. But goji berries are back on the menu for me after 10 years in the wilderness. And I make sure that I eat lots of lutein and zeaxanthin packed foods, because macular degeneration is the biggest cause of blindness in the world. Our eyes are under so much pressure. We've all spent 2 years now staring at screens and even more glued to screens than we were before. So I please beg you, make sure you're eating for your eyes. Maybe have a good blink now. Look away from me. Give your eyes a rest. So what makes goji berries so powerful? I mean, they're just one tiny thing. What are these antioxidants, lutein and zeaxanthin? They are plant nutrients, essentially known as polyphenols. I'll use that word a lot today. We all know plants are good for us and we need to eat lots of them. So what I want to do is delve a little bit deeper into why they're good for us. Polyphenols are the active elements in plants. They are the antioxidants that have a powerful impact on our health. I know I've talked in the past and written about oxidation, which is the process in our body, particularly as we get older, essentially of rusting. It's a build-up of all the kind of waste products simply from breathing and eating, not to mention toxins in our bodies. It's like our bodies are producing exhaust, like a car does, and there's nowhere for it to go. And that is oxidation. And plants provide us with antioxidants to help us manage this exhaust. Essentially, when we eat plants, they gift us the powerful systems which protect them from disease and predators to help protect our health too. So my focus at the moment, my reboot, is to take a deep dive into the foods with the highest concentrations of polyphenols. There's lots of really interesting research into polyphenols coming out at the moment, really sort of delving into their power and looking at what makes them good for us. I mean, I think a lot of this research is actually aimed at developing supplements, because it often is. But for us, those of us who want to age well, which is why we're here, it's a way of focusing our attention on what we eat each day, how we build our plates, what actually goes onto the plates of food that we consume, what we choose. So let's look at the research. First thing, evidence suggests that polyphenols influence our gut microbiota. I'm sure you know that good gut health is really important if we want to age well, and we want our gut microbiota, those teeming trillions of microbes, bacteria, fungi, viruses that live inside our gut, inside our intestine. We want them to be functioning really well as we get older. And a very new survey that looked at people over 60 living in sheltered accommodation in Italy, all of whom had issues with their gut wall, their gut barrier. Essentially, that very thin, one cell thick wall between the gut and the rest of our bodies. Half of them consumed their normal diet, they were the control group, and half substituted some items in their diet with polyphenol-rich foods. And after just 8 weeks, they had better gut health and a lower risk of leaky gut. And leaky gut is a condition we're more at risk of as we get older. And it's really where that gut wall, that one cell thick wall, the lining of the small intestine becomes damaged, and undigested food particles, toxic waste, bacteria can leak through that wall and flood into our bloodstream. Our gut wall becomes permeable, and when bits of food, etc., float through it, that causes inflammation in the body, because the body thinks, what is going on here? I need to react. The immune system thinks, I've got to react to this stuff that's coming in. I don't want it. Got to react. And our immune system causes inflammation. And inflammation is one of the key drivers of aging. It's so closely linked to aging that researchers talk about inflammaging, the two things just being so closely linked. So what do those Italians in their sheltered accommodation eat? They were given 3 portions a day of polyphenol-rich foods, and they were things like berries, blood orange juice, pomegranate juice, green tea, apples, dark chocolate. It really doesn't sound bad, does it? And that was enough. 3 portions of one of those foods each day was enough to double their intake of polyphenols and positively impact their gut health and reduce the risk of leaky gut, which is fantastic. It's not difficult. So what else can polyphenols do for us? There was some research published last autumn found that polyphenols, or having a diet rich in polyphenols, helped reduce cognitive decline in older people. So in this case, the researchers picked out similar foods, your apples, cocoa, green tea, blueberries, oranges, pomegranates, and also coffee, mushrooms, and red wine, all as having a positive effect on the risk of cognitive decline. And if you know my story, my mum had dementia. I cared for her for 12 years. My grandmother also had dementia. So you'll know that I'm really focused on brain health and reducing dementia risk. So I was really interested to read this research when it came out. And again, simple, accessible foods, having more of those in the diet had a measurable impact. A couple of things which the researchers pointed out, which were interesting. They found that people consuming high levels of artificial sweeteners, caffeine and alcohol were more likely to suffer cognitive decline. But that doesn't quite make sense, does it? Because coffee and red wine were on the positive list as reducing risk. So what they said were, understandably, more research needs to be done into the role of caffeine and alcohol, coffee and red wine. The research is never perfect. That's what we have to remember. But I suppose if you think about it, caffeine from a beautiful cup of coffee made with freshly ground beans probably has a different impact on the body to caffeine from a can of Red Bull, say. I don't know, probably. So, but there are always these anomalies in research, and it's up to us to make sense of it in our own lives. And then there was research published just last week, actually, that looked at a compound. It's called urolithin A, but it's produced by our gut bacteria when our microbes break down polyphenols we ingest. So this research sort of cut out the middleman. It didn't look at the food. It looked at a supplement which is created to mimic what our gut bacteria makes when it breaks down polyphenol-rich foods. But what they found was when it was given as a supplement, it had a beneficial effect on muscle endurance and on our mitochondria, which are the batteries of our cells. They become less efficient with age. So we really need them functioning well. But people who took the supplement, excuse me, had more efficiently working mitochondria and better muscle endurance. Of course, I'm talking about the foods rather than a supplement, but it was interesting to see that the end result were these benefits. And I know from talking to many of you, from talking to my one-to-one clients and attendees on my course, these sort of issues, muscle strength, energy, gut health, cognitive decline, inflammation, they're all real concerns. So it's good to know that we can make simple shifts in what we eat, and they will make a difference. So what am I doing differently in my life day to day? I'm planning my meals and what goes on my plate, my shopping, my meal prep, to include more of the foods which are known to have high doses of polyphenols. So the foods I've already mentioned, apple, cocoa, very dark chocolate, green tea, blueberries, oranges, pomegranates, coffee, mushrooms. For some reason, I'd stopped eating much citrus fruit, but in the study about cognitive decline and polyphenols, there was a positive association with consuming more citrus fruit and a lower risk of cognitive decline. So they are back on the shopping list. Now, one thing you might notice about all these foods, or many of these foods like coffee and citrus and cocoa, tea, is that they're bitter or astringent. They have a powerful impact on our taste buds. And that bitterness in our food is really important. A lot of the vegetables which have the highest concentrations of polyphenols are the bitter ones. Brussels sprouts, broccoli, chicory, endive, radicchio, I love radicchio, and spices like cloves, which have a really distinctive taste that really impact our taste buds. They're all bitter. And there's a reason for that. Plants don't really want us to eat them. This is something of a revelation for me. That bitterness, and thus the high levels of polyphenols, are a way of plants protecting themselves from predators, like humans who want to age well, us. It's really, really interesting. We are hardwired to avoid bitter foods in case they're poisonous. And plants are hardwired to protect themselves by tasting bitter. But because we are hardwired to avoid bitter foods in case they're poisonous, and apparently really poisonous plants are incredibly bitter. I mean, obviously I've never tried one, but apparently that's what they taste like. But because we're hardwired to avoid bitter things and to enjoy sweet things because they taste good, food scientists and plantsmen have tried to breed bitterness out of fruit and vegetables to make them more palatable because we like the sweet things. And this process has been going on for decades, and it means that we are getting fewer polyphenols in our diet, fewer of those bitter things which are so good for us, than our forebears did, because they're less available to us in the food we eat. And I was sort of digging back in the research archives, and even 30 years ago, researchers were concerned that people weren't going to be able to get enough polyphenols in their diet because they were being bred out of foods, out of fruit and vegetables. So we need to actively seek them out and add them back into our diet. They might be bitter, but we can train our taste buds to enjoy more bitter foods and reject the overly sweet ones. The more we eat bitter foods, the more polyphenols we get, and win-win, the less we want to eat sweet things. So let me know in the chat if you like bitter foods or if they are a turn off for you, too awful. Let me know what you consume which is bitter. I'm eating more, I'm really focusing on bitter vegetables. I've been eating lots of radicchio, that very dark red it's got white veins. It's sort of like a dense lettuce. Really good, really bitter. Great in winter salads. Chicory and endive also. Beautiful salads. Chop them up. And all the brassicas like Brussels sprouts, cavolo nero, black cabbage, kale, broccoli, artichokes, spinach, all bitter, all packed with polyphenols. And berries, the darker the better. Spices, all spices are packed with polyphenols. They have really strong antioxidant properties, but cloves and star anise are really good ones. Cloves have the highest concentration of polyphenols of any food. If you ate 100 grams of them, which no one would, you would get 10 times the amount, the optimal amount of polyphenols. But no one's going to eat 100 grams of cloves or even 10. But maybe one is doable. And stewed apple, I've been stewing cooking apples, again, more bitter, less sugar, more polyphenols, adding lots of cloves and spices, herbs as well, really packed with polyphenols. Beans, black beans are particularly good, and soya beans, edamame and tempeh, really good sources of polyphenols. Nuts, chestnuts are a really good source. Something I hadn't been eating a lot of, but it's really easy here in the UK and I'm sure elsewhere in the world to buy pre-packed sealed packets of them. The brand in the UK is called Merchant Gourmet, and they can crumble them over salads or a stir fry or a vegetable saute, and they've got a really nice texture. And of course olives and olive oil, the ultimate AgeWell superfood, really packed with polyphenols and good quality olive oil. That peppery taste you get at the back of your throat, that's the polyphenols, that they give you that sort of peppery thing. And of course I ate a lot of those foods before, and I'm sure you do too, but my little reboot has been planning my plate around polyphenols, ramping up the bitterness on my plate. And I have really found that by focusing on these foods, and particularly those bitter vegetables, I've been able to reduce the amount of carbs that I'm eating, because I've got so much lovely veg on my plate. And this is really powerful, just changed my taste buds so I don't crave sweet things so much. And I've always had a sweet tooth. So that has been really, really useful for me. Just look at the chat. Oh, I love olives. Yes, we all love olives. Lou says, just added a freshly ground clove to my porridge. Fantastic. You've just whacked the antioxidant polyphenol count up of your porridge by about 1,000%. That is fantastic. Pre-packed chestnuts as a snack. Yeah, brilliant. Then sort of soft, and actually they are sort of sweet in a way. Do dry herbs count? Yes, Jane. Yes, they do. Yeah, they're great. Pippa's saying, changed to an anti-inflammatory diet almost 2 years ago. Did have a sweet tooth, not now. Love sprouts, broccoli, rocket. Yes, rocket's great, isn't it? Peppery and bitter. Except for the odd bit of honey. Feel amazing. Arthritis and menopause symptoms have gone. Was hard to start with, but now how we live. Gosh, that is absolutely brilliant, Pepper. Your book really helps. Yay! Thank you, thank you, thank you. I don't like tea and coffee, but enjoy cocoa. Yes, exactly. Cocoa's a really good source. Yeah, I love star anise. Yes, brilliant. And of course today, Chinese New Year, Chinese herbs, good spices, good chance to use them. Brussels sprouts, dark chocolate, bitter coffee. Yes. Corella is very bitter. Yes, yes, yes. Ariane saying, love bitter vegetables and spices. Didn't know they were so good. Yeah, dark chocolate. Yeah, 100%. Oh, I'm not there with the 100%, Charmaine. Fantastic. Yes, Harriet saying, bitter salads mixed with fruit are delicious. Yes, that's what I've been doing. Harriet, is radicchio or chicory with chopped up clementine or orange. So I'm getting my polyphenols, some citrus as well. Yeah, sour cherries. Yes, yes, yes. Bitter gourd. Oh, that's interesting. Is this being recorded? Yes, 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 yes. I hope so. Right. Oh gosh, new messages. Endive pear, goat's cheese and hazelnuts. Caroline, that sounds delicious. Yes, it's definitely recording. I can see it now. Cinnamon, yeah, cinnamon is a really fantastic spice candy. Natural yogurt, yes, but in a different way. Good, really good for gut health, but less so for not polyphenols, but it's really good. Yes. Oh yeah, good idea, Pippa, to make trail mix with goji berries. Yes, fantastic. And cocoa nibs. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. That's really fantastic. Sauerkraut, yeah, really good. And yes, it's a cabbage, so it's antioxidant rich, and of course it's really good for gut health, Karen, because it's fermented, and that helps support our gut microbiota. Brilliant, fantastic. Just pop that away. Right, okay. Well, I hope that was helpful, and I'm glad so many of you like bitter vegetables. I know I've talked about a lot of research and a lot of information, and that's really where the Eat Well to Age Well course comes in. I've designed it to give you complete clarity on what to put on your plate, how to make healthy choices day in and day out, so you're doing the best for your health and longevity, so it becomes effortless. That's what I really want for you, that you don't have to overthink it or worry or be concerned about what to eat. You just know what to do day in, day out. And throughout the course, I talk you through menu planning and shopping lists and recipes and how to get the whole family on board if they're reluctant, all that stuff. Let me put the details of the course in the chat now. I'll give you the link. Here we go. Here we go. There you go. That's the link for the course. And the course is for you if you struggle to make healthy choices, or if you eat well some of the time and then run out of inspiration, or you feel you lack the knowledge about how much protein and how much carbs and what is a healthy fat. Am I having the right ones? I lay it all out for you. It's a 4-week course, and I'm with you every step of the way, giving you feedback, answering all your questions, going through food diaries and menu plans with you. And I've revised and revamped the course for 2022. I ran it twice last year, but it's new for this year. It's shorter and clearer and cheaper. And I just have one goal in mind: to allow you to take control of your nutrition so you can age well. That's what I want to happen. And the next one starts on Tuesday, the 15th of February. That's 2 weeks today, same time, 8 a.m. So it's live on Zoom. It's a morning class if you're in the UK, or Northern Hemisphere or Northern Europe, and an evening class if you're in Australia or New Zealand. And if you're listening to this and you're in the US or Canada, I'm really sorry that you won't be able to join live, but it's all recorded. You can treat it like a digital course and still have all the access to me. There are 4 weekly sessions, each one's 75 weeks, and everybody gets the recording and weekly fact sheets and handouts afterwards. So I really, really hope you'll join me. It's a really fun, lovely course. I did have quite a long waiting list this time, so places are filling up. So do have a look at the link or ask me any questions if you're interested. I've had lots of wonderful women take the course already, and I'm so cheered up by what they got out of it. They've said things to me like, I have loads more energy and now I'm sleeping better. I've made changes I will carry on into the years ahead, and I've lost 1.5 inches off my waist. It's not a weight loss course, but that was really great. So do have a look at the link and let me know if you're interested. I have giveaways. Now, I talked about the power of berries and how they have a high concentration of polyphenols. I'm not big on fancy supplements and things which aren't food, as I said, but I really like this product called Haskapa. It's made from the haskap berry. This is something that I do use and buy myself. And the lovely people at Haskapa have given me 3 packs to give away. And what this is a dried powder made from the haskap berry, which grows in Canada and Japan. And it has a really, really high concentration of polyphenols, antioxidants, anthocyanins. So this is, haskap berries are like a sort of souped up blueberry, essentially. Anyway, I've got 3 of these to give away, and with each one I will give a baby copy of the AgeWell project. So this has got all the content of the original big AgeWell project, but in a smaller, more manageable and sort of cuter form. So I've got 3 things, 3 gifts like that to give away. So if you're interested in winning, send an email to hello@susansaundershealth.com. Let me put that in the chat too. Hold on. And just put book in the subject line. Where are we? There we go. So there we are. Put book in the subject line. Email hello@susansaundershealth.com, and I will enter you in the draw to win. And the lovely people at Haskapa have also given me 25% off for everyone who signed up for this talk. So I will send out the code in the email that I send out later with the recordings. Cool, thank you so much. Let's have a look at the chat and at the questions. Right, let's have a look at any questions. Hang on. Okay. Karina, which genetic testing? Sorry, I realise I'm in very bright light. The sun suddenly come out and I'm facing east. Which genetic testing did you use to find out genetic predispositions? That's a really interesting question. I used 23andMe, which is an American-based system. You sign up for a kit and you get a test tube and you spit into it and you send it back, and then they send you your results. But I would always counsel anybody who is thinking about doing genetic testing to think very carefully about how you would feel if you found something you didn't want to know. It's not to be taken lightly, I think. And I did mine because Annabelle, my co-writer on the AgeWell project, was very, very keen to do it, and she was very enthusiastic, and she did it, and she found it really interesting, and so she really encouraged me to do it. But with my family history of dementia, I was very concerned about what I would find out about my genetic risk and whether I carried the ApoE4 gene. And that is the gene linked to increased risk of dementia. You can carry one or two alleles, and so I was really concerned about what I would find out. And what I found was that I carry one. So that means I have an increased risk of dementia, but not as much as if I carried two. So I was actually relieved that I'd found that out because of my mother and looking after her for so long. If you'd asked me beforehand what I thought my risk of dementia would be, I would have said, oh God, it's going to be 90%, isn't it? But actually, it's now about 1 in 7 up to the age of 80. So that was a relief for me. But you always have to think about what it might feel like for you, or if there was anything else that came up. But I think these tests are becoming more common. And I would also say you read the data protection, be aware of what happens to your information if you are considering doing that. Lucy says, do goji berries have nutritional benefits over other types of berries, such as blueberries? They've obviously got a very high concentration of lutein and zeaxanthin, these antioxidants which are particularly linked to eye health. And apparently in China, the Chinese name for goji berries means eye brightening. So clearly back in the day, traditional herbalists understood the power of goji berries. But I would say all berries are really powerful, and actually getting a variety, because blueberries are amazing, then it just keep a good, have a good range of berries. I don't think there's one berry that does it all. It's having a range. Blueberries are fantastic. Black currants are amazing. There's a lot. There's a really good range. Heather saying, advice about mouth oral health. Gum health is a worry. Dryness in and out. Yes, linked to menopause. Yes, absolutely. I think the first port of call, I'm sure, is your dentist, because it is really important to focus on the oral microbiome and keeping it as clean and healthy, because it does impact our health as we get older. One thing I would say, Heather, is thinking about your breathing. Are you aware of how much time you breathe through your mouth or through your nose? It's very easy to breathe through our mouth a lot, and that creates stress and that dries out the mouth. That's just one thing to think about. Do dried herbs count? Yes. Jill saying, I'm not keen on dark chocolate, but could I add a square to my porridge? Yeah, chocolate porridge is really good. Really, really good. Marianne. Okay. Marianne, 56 on HRT, dry eyes. Beefed up omega-3 intake, fantastic. So eat sardines, salmon, walnuts. Yeah, that's fantastic. Not enough. Most foods home cooked, that's fantastic. Perhaps out of balance with other omegas, any suggestions? It sounds like you're getting a good dose of omega-3s from the oily fish, walnuts, linseed, etc. Chia seeds are another good source. So I would say, if you think you're out of balance, look at the other sources of fats in your diet, particularly oils. Are you consuming sunflower oil, that kind of thing? Because they contain a lot of omega-6, and that can knock your balance of omega-3 and omega-6 out, and therefore you're not getting all the benefits of omega-3, because omega-3 can't do its work if you're getting too much omega-6. So I would say focus on making sure you're not getting too many seed oils. Olive oil is great, but things like sunflower oil and rapeseed oil, they're quite high in omega-6. Not bad per se, but they're quite high in omega-6. So, and they're in everything. Even things you think are really healthy, like oat milk and oat cakes, often have seed oils in. So I would look at that to make sure you're getting the full benefit of the omega-3s from what you're eating. Heather, you use a pat machine, which do you think dries you out? Yes, it could be. Unfortunately, I don't know much about the pat machines and how they work, but it sounds like your oral health is really good. It sounds like you're doing everything you can, and I keep talking to your dentist about it to try and get a resolution with them. Okay, goodness, it's 10 to 9 here, 50 minutes. I know everyone has to get on with their day. People saying they're starting work. That's good. Thank you so much for joining me. I really, really appreciate it. Do listen on the replay if you've got that. Enter the competition and check out the course, the Eat Well to Age Well course. We start in 2 weeks, 15th of Feb. I'd love to have you there. And I will make sure that you've got the link and all the details when I send out the recording via email later today. Really lovely to talk to you. Thank you so much for joining me. I really, really appreciate it. Take care. Have a beautiful day. Have a beautiful evening, depending wherever you are in the world. Thank you again. Bye, 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 bye.